Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. Nintendo goes shopping. Joining in on all of the acquisition hype, they decided to throw their money into the ring and start eating up companies. Kind of, sort of, just kidding, not really totally, but a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Donnie?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You were super loud when we started.
I was?
Yeah, you weren't that loud when you joined the call, but like when
I
at least on
literally
my
did
end,
not change anything.
I was like, wow.
Oh
It's
my
okay.
goodness.
I brought you down a little.
I swear, nothing
chat.
changed.
Let me know if it was too much or too little, or maybe it was just my end. I'm good. I'm okay. Had a fun day. Spent most of the day with the wife, and yeah, ready for the weekend. How about yourself?
Good. It is a long 3-day weekend for me for Memorial Day. Very excited. We turn it into a celebration of my mom's birthday on Memorial Day weekend because her birthday is right around the same time as Memorial Day, and then we have the extra day off. And Josh is going to be flying in tomorrow, and it's going to be a good next couple days.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I've been playing Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door just to like put the cherry on top. Oh my god, what an amazing game!
Having fun?
I want to go on record and say everyone was right for her bullying me and harassing me that this game has been sitting on my shelf for the past 20 years and I have not been playing it. They were right. I was wrong.
It is very good.
It's a really damn good game, Donnie.
Yeah.
It has me giggling, smiling. Characters are really cool. They're very fleshed out. The combat is way more like it has more depth to it. I don't want to say complex because like that makes it sound like it's hard to understand, but like that's not the case. It has more, I guess, mechanics to it than I would have thought, between like all of the badges that you can get and all of like the action hit timings and all of the like there's a lot to it. And then all of the, you can do like the little stylish, you can get like all, like,
I mean, I feel like that's
audience member
generally the case for Paper Mario games, but most everybody that I know that agrees that Thousand-Year Door did it the best and has still done it the best. And I think almost every Paper Mario game that's come out since then, people are like, why aren't they just doing it like Thousand-Year Door?
That's all the comparisons I ever see is like,
that's all they've tried 1,000 different ways to like reskin this and redo it and, you know, have every one be like its own unique thing. And everybody just kind of wishes they went back to just go back to the one that worked. You know?
Yeah.
Color Splash was a nightmare in that regard. But yeah, I mean, I generally find that they're all okay. You know, like turn-based isn't necessarily my cup of tea to begin with. But this is my favorite one to play. It definitely feels more engaging, I think, than the other ones. The other ones are almost choreful. I didn't mind Origami Kings. I thought that was maybe a better step in the right direction than Sticker Star, than Color Splash. You know, like we had been on a kind of a bad run there for a minute. But no, it's nice having the OG back.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I'm on chapter 2. I did all the hooktail stuff. I saw the, you know, where Peach is. I got to see the villains with an S, the villains. I went back to the Thousand-Year Door. I put my little star in, and now it's telling me to go to the Oogly Boogly Woods or something like that. Yeah. So now
one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I'm like doing some side questy things in the, like, it just told me now I can go on. I have to go get the contacts at the shop because I stepped on that girl's contacts lenses, and I guess that's going to be the way to the next place. But I'm doing other things, like there's quests that you can do. You can go like help people's troubles in that one store. and,
Yeah.
like, I guess, like, do, like, little errands for
Yeah.
them. I really like the badges. I've been putting every time I level up, I've been putting my points into
Badge.
badges.
Yeah. Badge points. That's the
Somebody told me, one of my friends was like, "Rebecca, you're gonna do a badge point only run in this game." And this was before I knew what that meant, like what badge points were. And so like I don't know if I'm doing a badge point only run, but so far I said I'm gonna keep putting my points into badges until it becomes a problem.
yeah.
And it has not yet become a problem.
That's yeah, that was my recommendation. That'd be my tip for the game. Yeah, that's like the one thing that I remember about the mechanics of the game, outside of the story is the badges. You definitely want to have as many badges as you could possibly hold
They're fun.
and be able to mix and match. And it really lets you change, from world to world and kind of like respec. And it's just I found it to be the most helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like, that very early on, you get the badge that you can change it to the GameCube music, like, you can change it to the old style music if you want, and it's so simple to just turn it off and on. It doesn't
Yeah.
even count for any badge points, you can have it for free. I have not been keeping that turned on because I, don't have the nostalgia for the old music, like, I really probably wouldn't be able to tell you one way or the other, like, which one was which if I didn't know. But I love that that's a feature for the people who played the original game and, like, want that nostalgia or, like, wanna see the difference back and forth. I like when
Absolutely.
remakes do those kind of things.
Yeah. It's nice to harken back to to its beginnings. It's just like it's no different than the exchangeable cover that you can get in Canada and stuff. It's good
They
stuff.
were giving that out at, Nintendo New York.
See? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good stuff. That is good
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
I have not played it as much. I just started playing it today.
Okay.
It's been twofold. One, Hellblade like took over my entire week.
Yeah.
Two, my wife is like a damn she's lost to Animal Crossing all of a sudden. Like she
I
plays
have
it
seen your profile go on
she's
Animal
playing it
Crossing a
all
few
the
times.
time, right? Like she's plays it every day. I'm like, I need my Switch back. I don't know what it is. Something's got its hooks into her. She's like, it's an event I have to play today. I can't wait till tomorrow. Like she's
Might
got
be the Mayday stuff that
something. She's
yeah.
got something she's trying to do. And
Or the museum rally she's probably doing.
I don't know.
That I
But
think that's in May also.
so it's slowing me down in that regard. So I've got both of those factors against me. And the plan was to play today. And then I woke up for F1 is in Monaco this week because there's a big week every year for Formula One. So I watched qualifying, and I'm sure everybody's probably done this. This is definitely not unique. Like I woke up, I ate breakfast, and then I realized like I was still I was like I woke up too soon.
That's me every
Is that
morning.
every morning?
Yeah.
So I just went back to bed.
Yeah, hell
Like I
yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to sleep. And she's like, really? Because I'm not one for naps. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm tired. Like my eyes are heavy. I'm tired.
Hmm.
And I went back to bed, and I didn't like get out of bed today until like 2.
Why do you think?
I
What
don't
happened?
know. I have no idea. I didn't stay up too crazy too late like last night. I
Are
did
you
this week
sick?
though. There was a day, the day Hellblade came out, I guess Wednesday. I think I stayed up until like 4 in the morning. Like maybe it's like holdover after that.
Maybe.
But anyway, once I got up and got going, I washed the car, and then I decided to take Melissa out. I was like, hey, let's just go shopping. Not for anything like sometimes I just like to let's go look around, Target or Macy's or something. Let's just get out of the house. Let's go. So I spent the day doing that kind of stuff instead of playing video games. And then I sat down, I played for about an hour before this podcast. I was like, I got to play a little bit before we get started. And yeah, it's nice to be back. Just big old smile as soon as I, turned it on, open. It looks so good.
It's beautiful. The reflections on, like,
Yeah.
some of the,
Yeah.
like, the surfaces are so good. My, like, one, criticism, I guess, it's, like, not that bad, but, like, I feel like the beginning is really extremely
You want to hear
dialogue
something funny?
heavy. What?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were absolutely right, but you want to hear something funny?
Oh, what?
Okay, so my wife just walked in the room. She just got back from taking the kids out, and she's over there by guess where? The
The
Switch dock.
TV playing Animal
She's
Crossing?
looking for the Switch, and the Switch is over here on the charger. Go ahead and pick it up and take it. There it is. And I
Tell
now
her
cannot,
I support her Animal Crossing
Rebecca
endeavors.
says she supports you. I now cannot play Paper Mario again until further notice.
Well,
Like
that's okay. You're going to be
indefinitely.
podcasting for the next hour or so.
That's it. So that, like, when I tell you she's like a fiend, like an animal, like I'm telling you, it's the first thing I saw her. She's looking around. She's like, where is it? I know
You're
it's
not
around here
using it
somewhere.
right now.
True. But you're right. It is very wordy. And
In the beginning, I
a
think.
lot of their games are. A lot of them used to be more
Yeah, well, listen,
back
I
in the
feel
day.
like maybe that explains why I didn't click with it as a kid as much because they're like at that age, like I was 10, I'm sure I was able to read it all, but like I
You just got
probably did
bored.
not
Didn't
want to
want
be
to.
reading that much
Yeah, that's what
at
Jack
that
is like.
age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kids,
for
they don't
that
want to
kind of
do
game.
that.
Yeah. Which
Yep.
like I was a big reader, like I liked reading, but like I don't know. When I'm playing a game, I
You don't
want to
want to
just
read
get
a
into the
Mario game,
game. Yeah. So
especially a Mario game.
maybe that's what turned me off as a kid and
Yeah.
like didn't get me playing it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe. The other thing that I noticed, as great as it looks on my television, and it does. I mean, it looks great. I've always loved this game's art style. I've been talking about it for years, for a decade actually, almost on this podcast. There's something really nice about it in handheld. Like, I don't know, for me, for whatever reason, holding on, it might, you know what? It might be the damn GameCube Joy-Cons I bought. Like that might
Oh,
be it. Now that
this
I'm
is a good game for it.
like, I'm just sitting there holding it, and it looks so good on the little portable, on the little OLED screen, and just very cozy. Like I played it a little bit on the television, and I had pulled it off the dock, and I'd curled up in the chair, and I was like, this is better. It's better in the chair. Like, this is a
Yeah,
better way to play.
I
I
feel
don't
that.
know. I was digging it.
This is maybe it's like I don't know, like the simple puzzles or whatever it is, but this makes me want a Paper Zelda game very badly. Like, I think that they could do a Zelda
Yeah.
RPG in a paper. Like, I know this is not a new concept.
So
People
the
have made
question
like
is,
mock-ups of it, but like I feel like it would be so good.
would they carry that same like punny, whimsical writing style into it? And can they?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
they've had a lot of cracks at Paper Mario since, and they're not as good.
I feel like they could, and like it kind of works like Mario doesn't talk in this. He goes like, "Oh yeah," or like,
Yeah, sure.
little things like that, and that would work well for like Link as, the silent
I think
protagonist
Paper
type.
Zelda sounds great. I know it's easy dressing, but like I also would love kind of like maybe a paper Pokemon game.
That'd be cool too.
I think this sort of same style, especially if they adapted like the action based, like turn based combat and stuff to like maybe flare up the Pokemon style a little bit, would be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I could see something like that too. But
I
Paper
would
Zelda's
imagine that as
been
like a Pokemon mystery dungeon type where like you're playing as the Pokemon
maybe, yeah,
and,
that could be good.
yeah.
Yeah, the Paper Zelda thing is something I've been reading on message boards and stuff. I feel like for
I know. It's not a
for a
new
decade.
concept.
No,
It's
no,
not a
people have
unique
been wanting that thing for a
concept.
long time.
Yeah. I just
And
like playing this makes me like see it even more, I
Link
guess.
Between Worlds was that for me. The
Yeah.
moment I saw like marketing for Link Between Worlds, I was like, oh my god, Paper Zelda! Like
Yeah.
just seeing them go flat and be on the wall and stuff. You're like, oh, it writes itself. It's so easy.
Mhm.
But I would love, when I think Paper Zelda, I think like Toon Link. Like
Yeah.
Paper
Yeah, I can
Zelda.
see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of where my head goes. I would love to see it. That'd be great.
Me too.
Yeah,
Have you been playing anything? Well, you've been playing Hellblade, right?
love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Did you
love
beat
it.
it?
It was one
Okay.
sitting, went right through that
Oh,
bad boy.
nice.
Talked about it on the podcast. Won't talk about too much here. People don't like when we don't talk about non-Nintendo games, but I will say that I absolutely love it. It is by far and
Whatever.
away my favorite game I've played so far. One of the best games I think I've played in years, to be quite
Wow,
honest with you.
good. Did you like
And
it better than the first one?
yeah, blows first one out of the water. It's
Ooh.
just I mean, the combat's more engaging, and the story I just found to be way deeper, and not just way deeper, layered. There's multiple stories. Whereas the first game is so like singularly focused on her and like
Mhm.
internal struggle. This game is that, and it's other people, and it's like her history and her family is like, there's lots of layers, but there is a through line that kind of connects them all.
It's
And
what you wanted and more.
yeah, it is. And I found that through line that I was really into the story. And I think having read and listened to a lot of people I think that's maybe like the divide is there's people that are into the story and aren't paying attention to maybe its faults in other areas because they're so enamored with the story.
Mhm.
And then there's people that are so fixated on these other things that I don't know if they've given the story a chance or if it just wasn't for them. But a very divisive game. There's a lot of people that love it and a lot of people that hate it.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
when the reviews came out, it was very split. Like, it got from like a 9 out of 10 to like a
Force.
5 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit of that on the podcast. I don't want to turn this to an Xbox show, but like I find there are really good reviewers, Rebecca, people that we've talked to, people we've had on the show and stuff that they think this is a bad video game. And it makes me reconsider like my thoughts on their opinions on game. Like it's one of those things, not that people can't not like a game that I like. Obviously that happens all the time and I do the same. But to call it a bad game, you catch where I'm going? Like to
Yeah,
call it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's harder to swallow. Like, okay, so you don't think this is worth anything at all? Like you think it's a bad game? Like this is like Anthem bad?
Donnie, I just wanna say that's how I feel about when people talk about The Last of Us Part 2.
So The Last of Us Part 2 is actually a really good example of what I'm kind of talking about. I have always said that I think The Last of Us Part 2 is an incredible game.
Okay.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, that's completely valid.
And I feel like other people should be saying that about Hellblade,
No.
but they're not.
Yeah, 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 no.
Like they're literally saying this is a terrible game.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Jeff Gerstmann is the one that I pointed out. He literally did a whole podcast where he just said it's just a bad video game. That was his take. And I was like, that can't be a professional take. Like you can't have that take. Look at it. Look how it played. Like in it works well. Like in the age of the games that we've had, like in my head, I zoom out and I think of like, what about like the Saints Row reboot or
Yeah,
Anthem? Like think
yeah.
about like some bad video
We have
games.
lost track of the plot.
Come on, like this is the bad. Like this is not even anywhere close to being bad. You can say you don't like it, but you don't have to tear it down.
Somebody's asking about the sound design. I remember you were talking about the first game, like, put on headphones, it's
I would love for
amazing.
you to play it because
Yeah.
there's something
I
about
will,
well, and
actually.
I don't feel so bad about it because you can play Hellblade on Switch. It's on Switch.
It is?
It is. They
What?
ported it to Switch. Yeah, I've beat it on Switch.
What?
And I honestly hope that they bring Hellblade 2 to Switch too. I really do. I hope they bring it to PlayStation. I want as many people as possible to experience Senua's
Wow.
story. And Rebecca, I think you're one of those type of people where
I know I would, I know,
if you
I
put the
know.
headphones on, just like you are right now, you turn the lights off. Here's the thing
Yeah.
about this game. The Furies in her head, they're constantly talking, and you get what it I guess you get. Like I don't suffer from this, but I do live with somebody that may be a little bit like this.
Ooh.
You get what it's like to have those voices in your head and that anxiety and that imposter syndrome, that self-doubt and that trauma. And it never stops and it keeps going. And what I think it does is as you play, it immerses yourself to like, how like everybody says, like, I'm Link because Link doesn't talk. It's very similar. Like it immerses you into her
Makes you
brain. Like
feel yeah, it makes you feel
you're
like her.
in her head. You think like her. It almost like conditions you to think like that.
Mhm.
It becomes so immersive.
And the
There's a
second
spot
one's the same as that? Yeah.
more so,
More so,
even
wow.
more so. And then you add in all of the crazy graphics and like it is insane to look at and it's crazy to play. It's very scripted and choreographed and very easy to get through. I was in
Yeah.
6 hours, so it's
Yeah, I
a
like
short
that.
shot. But it's very emotional. It's heavy. It's very heavy.
Hmm. Maybe
So
I'll tackle those this summer. 'Cause
yeah,
I like that they're short.
it hit. This is one of the big anticipated I'm all in day one, can't wait, eat the hype games that
Yeah.
finally hit for me, Rebecca. Like it was everything I could have possibly
Aw,
hoped for.
I'm glad.
Like it blew me away. I was like, oh my God, this is better than I ever imagined.
That's good because I remember there was a long streak there where
There was
you were excited for those games and they were not hitting. Those
like one after the other. Like,
Mario Golf,
ugh.
Sports Story,
Redfall,
Pokemon
Sports
Snap.
Store.
There were a bunch for like a whole year.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a knack for getting really excited about some mid-ass games apparently. And this wasn't one of them. And I was very worried going in based on all the things going on over that side of the house and everything. I was like, oh no, not Hellblade. Don't do this to me. And they didn't. They landed the damn plane, Rebecca. It's so good.
Good.
So
And now you can enjoy
now I'm on
Paper
to
Mario, which you
Thousand Year
know
Door.
is good.
If I could ever get my Switch back.
Listen, she's allowed. Get her a Switch. You sold your Switch Lite and stuff. Oh my gosh. Ah, I saw it. She's very valid for that. Okay, let's talk about Paper Mario. It's reviewing pretty well. 88 on Metacritic, 89 on OpenCritic.
Yeah.
They were very quick to put new icons on Nintendo Switch Online. So from now, for a couple weeks, they're going to rotate in and out new Switch profile icons. There's a Mario Run crossover event that is now live. Now, here's what's interesting. Tell us about Digital Foundry, Donnie, because this, I think, is going to have people's ears perk up.
Yeah. So the game runs at 900p docked and 640 in handheld, which is another thing because you hear 640 and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And I'm telling you, and maybe it's just the OLED, but sitting on the OLED, I'm like, this looks amazing. At 640p, it's the best 640p I've ever seen. It runs at a near locked 30 FPS throughout their testing.
Wait, can I say something about the FPS discourse that's been going on about this game?
I'm happy you would. Yeah, go ahead.
Because, like, so a lot of people are big mad that it is 30 instead of 60 because the original was at 60, and they're saying, oh my gosh, like the timed hits, like we're not going to be able to get them. Can I tell you, I get those timed hits every time, and maybe these people just suck at games if you need it to be 60 to get them.
This was world record holder Mike Minotti's thing all the way up until this game. He's been talking about all of his podcasts, and I don't mean to throw him on the bus.
No, throw him under the bus.
This has been his thing. He's been like, why? And I get it. Like, there's a part of you that's like, the first one was a 60, make the other one at 60, but that they didn't. My take, which I'm going to regurgitate because we've already done this, but I've said it before. This is a really weird hill to die on for me. One, it's turn-based. It's a slower game. It's not like that. Yeah, it has action commands.
If you are missing
these people
those,
are acting
you're
like
bad at games.
These people are acting like you've never had a turn-based game at 30 frames a second. Most of them are 30 frames.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a big deal. Like, you've got to press one, but like a frame rate isn't going to stop you from getting that action. Like, it's just, it's a big reach. Like, it's a crazy hill to die on. And on top of all that, we're whining about a Switch game being at 30. Like, 88% of all Switch games are at 30 frames a second. Like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. To me, this is more evident that like the gaming discourse, gaming social media just wants to rage. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just like this undying need to be angry at something all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's evidence of it. Speaking of the frame rate, the Digital Foundry did say that the frame pacing is a perfect whatever it's supposed to be, 33.3 second whatever. It's like the frame pacing is ideal. So it never feels, the 30 never feels not smooth, which is the frame pacing is a big deal. And it's often what Dev and I will call the difference between good 30 and bad 30.
Yeah.
I've like Last of Us 2 is at 30. Like, I played it at 30 frames a second, never had a problem with it.
Where was the rage about that?
There was. People were mad about that too. But the reason that it wasn't a problem is because the frame pacing was slocked. So you get accustomed to it and it feels smooth. What you don't want to have is fluctuating frame pacing at 30. Because then it starts to feel stuttery, like glitchy, kind of like you can see it, you notice it. And I think that's what most people think of when they hear 30. And that's not always the case. There's good 30 and there's bad 30. And Paper Mario 1000 Year Door is a good 30. There's nothing wrong with this game being at 30 frames a second at all. Like, literally, there's nothing wrong with it being. I don't think anything's lost.
I agree.
There's nothing lost playing this game at 30 frames a second. Like, there's nobody. If you're out there and you're like, but it could be better, like, it's fine. It is every bit as good as it needs to be. It's perfect.
Yep. And
I definitely wouldn't trade any of the visual upgrades because there's lots. They've reworked all the textures of the game. They've rebuilt all of the geometry in the game from scratch. New 3D sprites to replace the old 2D sprites. There's brand new UI and all the other menu overhauls and everything.
You'd call this a remake instead of a remaster?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would. I definitely think it. I think it looks that way. In presentation, they're very different.
Yeah.
Like if you were to pull a ROM up of this in Dolphin next year, like it's a markedly improvement. Now it's a faithful remake, so there's not a lot of new ads or anything like that. They've just remade the original game.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would probably call it more of a remake myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm digging it quite a bit. We have a question from Four Tail Fox, and it's in reference to the following. Data miners have discovered in the code for Thousand Year Door a reference to 4K resolution. And Fourtail Fox says, do you think that there's code in Thousand Year Door mentioning 4K means a Switch U will have a 4K resolution for the game? I don't, personally. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. It's there for a reason. I think it don't we have rumors that next
We
Switch is
do.
gonna have 4K?
We do. I would guess that if it's in the code, and I'm not saying that it's not, to be clear. I don't know that it's not. My read on it when I first saw it was, well, it probably just has any resolution that it could potentially target, like in the code, right? So it makes sense you would have like 720, 1080, 4K. Like it's just a resolution. It's a standard. There's a
Mhm.
standard. Like if you think of code as here's how you code drop down options. It's in the drop down. You're not going to use it, but it's there. That's
Right.
kind of where
You
my
know,
head was.
I saw a really good analogy to this, and I think it's kind of relevant. I saw like it was a thread about why do cars have the ability to go like 130 miles an hour when like nobody is going to do that, and it's like
Yeah.
to make it has to be able to reach a higher point than what you want it to run efficiently. Like it's not you want it to run efficiently at like 90 or 80, so it needs to be more than that, and that's like the same thing for like headphone volume or
I also wonder,
things like that. Like it's
maybe
got
it's
to be
there
able
for
to
the devs. Maybe when they're rendering and looking at things when they're developing the game, maybe it's to make sure that their monitors, maybe their displays are in 4K.
maybe.
Or maybe they are looking at trying to, maybe we can get this game to upscale or something. But the thing about the Switch is the Switch 2, based off what we know about DLSS, about the chipset and everything, it looks like a device that's capable of hitting 4K, but it's going to render the game at a much lower resolution and then be upscaled. And that's not reflective in this code at all. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to run any game native at 4K, even if it could. The reason being, it takes so much power. It takes so many resources for DLSS to upscale anything to 4K that you're just going to lose too much in the product. You lose too much like power to
Mhm.
that effort.
Yeah.
So like
So
I
it
don't
sounds like it's
expect.
coded to have the ability to, but that doesn't mean like it
Yeah,
realistically can or should.
yeah, and like I just don't think, if, let's say this is true. Let's say you look at this and you're like, aha, we've got you, Nintendo. We discovered it. We cracked the case. Paper Mario wouldn't run at 4K. It would run at like 1440 or 1600 and then be upscaled to 2160.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going to run at 2160. So that's another thing that makes me think that this is just a drop down in the menu. I
I
don't
also
know.
feel like at that point it's like kind of diminishing returns. Like it already looks gorgeous and
There's nothing wrong with,
beautiful.
yeah,
Like
you could play this game at 1440 on a big screen
are
TV
you
and it
really
look
gonna have
amazing.
a better experience that it's at 1080 instead of 900? Like it's
Yeah,
already
I don't know about that. I saw it when it happened and I was like, I'm not giving it too much credit. I don't
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, it's good food for thought though.
Yeah, yeah, fun exercise. And I get why people are harping on it. I get why like that's a tweet that takes off. Like
Yeah,
I found it. I've got them.
especially with the news of the next Switch console, we have something tangible to work with now. So I
Right.
think people are going to be looking at every single release until
Tearing
then.
everything apart.
And yeah, and wondering, is this meant to be on the next Switch? Is this going to be a dual release kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it
So
is.
I think it's okay. Keep going with this next story.
All right. So Kit and Krysta have a podcast, right? And Krysta described her meeting Nintendo's president Furukawa in person, right? This is Furukawa.
Mhm.
And she had this fun story. So the other thing about Mr. Furukawa that's really fun is that, he came to our office when he became the global president to like introduce himself and for us to get to know him. And it was sort of the first time seeing his personality and getting to know him as a person. At the time, he was telling us like he's a huge Fire Emblem fan and was playing Fire Emblem. And he was like, I'm a huge fan. I've been playing Fire Emblem. And I got to the end of Fire Emblem and I was like, the credits are rolling. And I got to the very end and then it says executive producer Furukawa. And I'm like, and he goes, and that's a hard reality because then I was reminded I have to get back to work.
That's fun.
So
Um,
apparently the Prez, big Fire Emblem fan, which I can get behind. He's into the
you know,
waifus.
I listen, I like that he genuinely likes games. Like I
Sure,
feel like
it's
you would
important.
expect that or want that, but like I kind of get the vibe that Doug Bowser is like just the business guy and like he
Yeah.
doesn't like go and play Mario Kart with his son kind of thing.
I bet
Like
he probably takes Mario Kart for a spin from time to time, but I don't think he's playing Thousand Year Door, and I don't think he's beaten Tears of the
no,
Kingdom or anything. I don't think he's doing all that. He's got work to
no.
do.
Which like I
But
get it, sort of like, but you want them to be like this. Like you want them to really genuinely enjoy the games that they're making. Like I
sure.
don't know, that's how you picture
Iwata
that.
was a gamer. Sakurai was a gamer.
Yeah,
Like Reggie's a
exactly.
gamer. I don't think Reggie played all of the stuff that maybe he gives off the impression that he did, but I
You don't
think he
think he was
definitely
really going back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on his
no,
3DS?
I don't. But I just love I would say the deep hit. I mean, it's not that uncommon, but I like if you could pick one, I like that he picked Fire Emblem. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Nintendo Shack material right there. That's what we're looking for.
That also sounds like he's very personable with the people at the Nintendo of America offices too. Like for him to be telling them stories like that,
Yeah,
and like it's not just all business and all
it's
like
more personality than we've got from him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like
Now
surprised that he even came by and I was like, wow, really?
I'm like trying to visualize like on a practicality level, like how is this meeting taking place? Like, I'm trying to visualize it. Like he doesn't speak English. And they don't speak Japanese, at least not, I guess, enough to like
Sure, probably as a
have a whole
translator.
conversation like this. So it's like all of that's
Yeah,
probably gone through a translator. It's kind of funny to think about.
Bill Trennan. It's about to
Yeah. Oh
be
yeah,
replaced
it
by AI.
actually might be. Oh
If you
god.
haven't seen the
No.
AI stuff,
No, no. We need Bill.
for sure.
Yeah, I like that story. Thank you for including that because I didn't
Yeah,
hear about that.
I thought it was fun. A little fun anecdote. From now on, every time This Is Furukawa comes on screen or tweets or anything, in my head, I'm gonna go, it's my Fire Emblem brethren right there.
He had to
I'm behind
pause
this guy.
Fire Emblem to tweet that.
Yeah, I'm behind him 100%. He's got my full faith. Before, I could take it or leave it. I had no ties to Furukawa. Now he's the man. Let's go, Furukawa. More Fire Emblem games, please.
That's probably why we're getting so many Fire
That's
Emblem
great.
games.
More. We need more. We don't have enough.
Oh boy.
The next one, Nintendo jumps into the mergers and acquisitions market this week, and they officially announced that they've acquired Shiver Entertainment from the Embracer Group. They'll be getting 100% of all outstanding shares of the company. And I've got some history brought to us by Nintendo Life of the company. So Shiver was founded in 2012. It's based in Miami, Florida. Excuse me. It was helmed by John Shepard and Jason Anderson. These are long-time video game veterans dating back to Visual Concepts and Tiburon. I know both of those because they made a shit ton of EA of sports games before they were snatched up by EA. So all of like the sports games that I grew up playing as like a kid in the 90s came from like Tiburon
Wow.
and Visual Concepts and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Back in 2012 when they got started, they mainly focused on mobile and free to play, but around 2014, 15, they really shifted towards PC and console dev. They were acquired by Embracer and sit under Saber Interactive in 2021. They did Scribblenauts Showdown in 2018, Scribblenauts Mega Pack in 2018. They did the port for Mortal Kombat 11 to Switch in 2019, Hogwarts Legacy, and Mortal Kombat 1 last year. They're mainly known as a port studio for doing a lot of Switch work. And fun fact before we talk about their games is when the DICE Awards awarded Iwata with a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award, it was Shepard, the studio helm, who presented the award to Reggie Fils-Aimé and spoke
Oh wow.
about the former president's generosity. And quote, Mr. Iwata left an indelible mark on the industry. He made gaming better, bigger, and better, he said. So now
Okay.
he is in the Nintendo family.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people like questioning this or being like, oh, some of these games were not great Switch ports, like Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat. You're like, yeah, they weren't great Switch ports, but I feel like that's only a reason why to take them into the Nintendo sphere and give them, kind of the
Interesting.
Nintendo ship leadership and resources.
Mortal Kombat 1 is, by all accounts, not a great. I want to say it's just not very good on Switch. I wouldn't go as far as say it's not a good port. We've seen people do more with less. I mean, we've seen people do better jobs with ports. Mortal Kombat 1 just may not be a good case to bring to Switch. Think
Mhm.
about it. It's 2023. It's a next console game that they've tried to bring to this little handheld tablet. Something's got to give. Now, let's just say you throw that one out and just say it's bad. Okay, it's a bad port. Hogwarts Legacy is actually a pretty damn good port to the Switch. Anybody that's saying it's a bad port, I don't think has really followed like development. They had to do a lot to bring that game to Switch.
Yeah.
Like on consoles, that game has an ever connected like open world. And on Switch, they've cut that down into bite-sized pieces that can load in and out as time you get through them. Like that's work. That's development. That's a lot of work just to bring the game over. So I'm not going to throw any stones about that at all.
Yeah, I think
I've
when people think about, like, ports, they expect it to be exactly the same, but,
like
like, that
console,
doesn't
yeah, they can't
necessarily
be.
mean that it's
It
gonna,
can't be.
it can be a good port, and I feel like that might be even a good example of how to turn a game like that and make it possible on
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
little
no,
easy
that's very
handheld.
impressive. And I own and have played Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch, and I think it's pretty damn excellent. Like it's really good. If you want to play Mortal Kombat on Switch, like that's the one to get.
Yeah.
And I wasn't surprised by this, and I wouldn't look down on this at all. I think this I thought this made a ton of sense when I first read the news. I think
Mhm.
my reaction to the Discord was like, now Nintendo has their own like Nixes or Bluepoint. PlayStation has a couple studios that just do port work, and Nintendo did say that their focus will remain the same. They'll continue commissions to port and develop a software for platforms, including the Switch. And I think this is maybe a place where Nintendo can reach out to people for games that they think are good fits in their system. They go, hey, for a bigger slice of the pie, we can handle publishing and port work. Like we can handle the port development work if you just want to let us bring the game over. That's a powerful thing to have in your inside
Yeah.
internally.
And I could see
And
that being, like, preparation for having, like, better third-party support on the next Switch.
absolutely. It also could be a support studio to third parties. So you could bring these guys in and they go, we want you to learn everything there is to know about Switch work because we want you to work with Square Enix, with Ubisoft, with EA on helping them port their games here. Like you are experts, especially
Mhm.
with them being here in America. Maybe they could focus on some of those studios because it seems like Nintendo does a really good job with Japanese folks getting their games over. Like I don't think Nintendo is lacking for Square Enix. They're not lacking for Platinum. They're not lacking for Capcom. Like those games, when they can run on Switch, they run on Switch. But the Western developers, I do think that's something. Like that seems to be kind of where things are missing. And maybe this is a part of that. Maybe they're like, hey, we want you to work with Microsoft. Make sure Call of Duty makes it over here. Like figure it out. Like go help them.
Yeah.
That also might be a part of it. So they could do port work and they could also help other people with their games, getting them over to Switch.
Mhm.
So, and this is kind of the timing of this is actually kind of all the rage right now because there is a ton of talk. I would say industry wise, it's definitely in the media. So people that keep up with gaming news have probably seen it. There's just a ton of talk right now about folks switching to ARM. Everybody is starting to come to ARM. Like Microsoft just had their big AI presentation, right? At that thing, they showed off brand new Surface Books that are running on ARM. And they were like, look how much faster and better they are than Mac, which just switched to ARM. And there's all these rumors that the next consoles might switch to ARM. Of course, you've got these handhelds that are using ARM. Nintendo is at the forefront of this. They ripped that band-aid off 8 years ago. They're like, we're moving to ARM. Now it seems like everybody's looking to move to ARM, and having a studio that can sit down and help people catch up to where Nintendo probably already is, considering they've been developing for ARM for some time, and being able to share lessons learned and share technology and like, here's how we make it work. That's having that in house is extremely valuable, and I'm sure they didn't pay much for this studio at all.
Yeah.
So I think
I
this makes a
I
ton of
love
sense.
seeing these kind of acquisitions, to be honest, like, that
Well,
have, a purpose like that rather than just trying to, like.
because Embracer is probably just going to close them
Yeah.
because they've
Yeah.
sold off and
Oh my
closed
god.
everything they can.
Seriously.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
Nintendo,
this feels like a productive acquisition.
I agree. Yeah, and the for years I've yelled I want more ports. You know, like I would like
Yeah.
more third parties on Switch. I want NCAA football on Switch and Call of Duty on Switch. Like if more of my favorite games were there, I do think right now I'm probably split 50-50 between PC and Switch, but that's because most of my favorite games aren't on Switch.
Mhm.
Like I can't play everything I want to play on Switch by itself. If I could, like I did in the GameCube, I would probably just play that. Like that would be great if I could just do it there. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Donnie, as exciting as that acquisition is, it is not even the most exciting acquisition from this week. Did you hear about Atari
Oh, picking up was in
and
television.
television?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
news would have gone wild
the
in the
console
80s.
wars. Yeah, there we go. They finally buried the hatchet.
Oh, jeez.
I'm also very excited, and maybe like one of 8 people in the world that are excited about this.
Talk about it.
Limited Run Games have announced collector's editions for the upcoming Clock Tower Rewind from Way Forward.
Here, there.
The standard physical box copy of the game is $35. Comes with a cover, and you get the copy of the game and the Limited Run, numbered edition. I think that they're going to sell this game digitally for $20. It'd be my guess. Now, that's cool. There's an amazing collector's edition that was announced.
You're gonna get it.
It comes with a collector's box, a clock tower statuette, like the statuette of the clock tower, a soundtrack, a poster, acrylic standees, a Dan Barrow stress ball, an enamel pen, a Demon Idol keychain, and stickers.
They know you need the stress ball.
$125. Pre-orders start next Friday, and they're open for a month. You have 1 month to get a pre-order, and the estimated shipping date at this time is sometime between October and November of this year.
So the pre-orders are made to order, like they're gonna make how
I
many?
guess so. I hope so, because I do know a lot of times the Limited Run stuff is hard to get.
Yeah.
Like I already have reminders in my phone. I'll be there Friday morning to get one.
You'll be the first order to be placed.
I really hope I am. That'd be great. I've never gotten it. I definitely will not be. I've always wanted like a single digit, like a limited run anything, because I've bought like several of their editions. They're all numbered.
Mhm.
And you get like on the back of the copy,
Mhm.
it'll tell you like, like I've had like 43 of 800 or,
Mhm.
151 of 300. I would love to be like number 3 of 100. Like that would be great.
Is that how they do it? By like who gets the
Yeah,
pre-order first?
I think
Really?
so.
Okay.
I'm sure that they save like the number ones or something, probably for like some big customers or something of theirs.
Yeah, maybe.
But I would love to.
The
I would love to get one.
statue looks. Have you seen it? Like it
Yes.
sounds like it's
It looks
probably
incredible.
beautiful.
The
Yeah.
box looks incredible. I gotta put it on the shelf. I gotta get it.
How
It's
big
gonna be
is it?
small. Yeah.
Like this?
I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So I'm definitely getting the collector's edition, and I'll probably pick up 2 or 3 digital copies of the game. I'll probably buy it for everything that I have. Like the intent was to play.
Yeah, that's your game.
Well, this one isn't actually. That's the thing. This is the original Clock Tower,
Oh.
which came out on Super Nintendo and was ported to PlayStation 1 as called like the First Fear. The Clock Tower that is my game is actually Clock Tower 2. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy thing.
Oh.
It's PlayStation 1's Clock Tower. What we know in America's Clock Tower. What the actual in the series is actually Clock Tower 2. That is my game.
I see.
Yeah, this is a much harder game. This is like a procedural generated.
Which is why they're giving you a stress ball.
That's true. That's true. But I gotta get it anyway because I honestly I just never thought we'd ever see anything in the series ever again.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm happy for you.
I feel like if I buy enough of it, they'll bring more. Like I have to.
Maybe they'll do one for
Listen
Clock
to me,
Tower too.
Shackers. I need everybody to buy a copy of the game. Maybe they'll port Clock Tower 2 at some point next generation. That'd be great. Let's see here. Switch has sold 32 million units in Japan.
32.9.
Correct, in Japan, which means it's surpassed the Nintendo DS sales and is now Japan's #1 best-selling video game hardware of all time.
Wow.
I know we've said it 1,000 times already, it feels like, but still, like you almost have to sit back in awe of what the Switch has done for this company. From where they were before they launched it to now, it's crazy. And you know what's even like crazier? That Nvidia just had this Switch the whole time. They had the Switch with the tablet and the controller and the thing, and they had this device that nobody wanted. And then Nintendo was like, we're just going to sell the same device and put a Nintendo logo on it. And everybody's like, we want 150 million of them. Like we need as many of these as we could possibly buy.
Mm-hmm.
How incredible is that? What a story.
Yeah, that's a milestone.
Yeah. A Devolver Direct will be happening on June 7th. It's Friday. So they'll be like kicking off, I guess, the Summer Games Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Tomb
Anything
Raider
you're
1.
hoping to see for Devolver?
Oh, definitely. Well, it's funny. It's all the same games we've been waiting to see. It's Plucky Squire getting
Yep.
dated. It's Angerfoot getting dated. And they've got
I
that.
think
What's
Plucky Squire. I think that's where we, if it's
the
supposed to
Shadow
come this
Drop?
year, no, I don't think it's gonna shadow drop, but I think they're gonna tell us like August or like September.
That'd be great. They've got that dumb walking simulator game.
Oh, the baby one?
That's it. Was it Baby Steps?
Yeah.
So that does that come out yet? I don't think that's come out
I
yet
don't
either.
know. I
See,
don't think
they
so.
announced a bunch of games like 2 years ago that have still yet to release.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that this showcase is them finally releasing. And then I'm sure they've got a bunch of new games that they're going to announce as well. They need some help. I'm not sure if you've seen them, if their earnings were way down.
Really?
Like 80% down, like super down. Like I was starting to worry about Devolver. I hope they can dig out of it. And they also said that like their PlayStation Plus and Game Pass deals aren't nearly as lucrative as they used to be. And I think that it felt like for a while that they were depending on that as being like a consistent source of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could publish a game and know that they get a Game Pass deal. And I'm wondering if maybe some of the games they were hoping for, Xbox is like, we'll pass. And
That sucks.
it does suck because they definitely said in their financials, they announced they're like, we need people to buy box copies of the games. Like we'll bring them to services later, like on the tail, but when we launch, we need people to buy the game. So yeah, if you're out there and you're listening, don't just assume if you see the Plucky Squire, it's going to come to Game Pass or it's going to come to Plus or something. It may not. So they're trying to get people back into buying their games. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. It will be getting a physical release. There was no date announced, just sometime. There will be getting. It was Spire announced it. I would assume with limited run, but like we don't know. It could be with anybody, but and then Nintendo is opening a second US store in 2025 in San Francisco.
I always said that they should have a store in every major city.
Yeah, I don't know what it is against there. There's definitely something with them where they don't want to have.
I hope this is the start of that, where they're, it's not just one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. I hope that they, put one in Orlando, put one in Chicago, put one all over.
I would agree. I would love to see it.
Put one in the UK, like put one in London.
Yeah.
Like what people want to
at least put one by your theme park, right? The theme park that's going in Orlando should have one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm glad that the West Coast is getting one because that's a big trip otherwise to go to New York for those people out there.
Sure. Yep. I sent her a couple weeks ago. I was like, make sure you.
I'm surprised it's San Francisco
and not
the
fireworks
LA.
going off?
No.
Okay.
Fireworks.
I just want to make sure. Yeah. For whatever reason, my redneck neighbors are setting off a bunch of fireworks right now.
For Memorial Day?
Hey, welcome to Georgia. We set off fireworks for all sorts of holidays. Like I'm not even a bit surprised that this would be a holiday.
Yeah, let's set off fireworks to traumatize all the PTSD, war veterans. That's a good way to remember their service.
I'm just happy it's not coming over the microphone. I was worried because they're pretty loud. And that's the news.
Yeah. Anything before we jump into the questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm definitely getting that clock tower thing though. I wonder when that game is coming out. I wonder. I have a bunch of wonders. I wonder is Limited Run going to do another like Summer Games Fest showcase like they did last year?
Oh yeah, last year they did it, and there was
good.
no marketing behind it. Remember, I didn't know about it until it was over.
Yeah, and it was really good. And I wonder if they do it again.
Maybe they should tell people about it this time.
I wonder if they'd shadow drop something like the clock tower.
Maybe they should tell people that it's happening.
That would be good. Maybe Jeff could tell people. Maybe Jeff could get people, in the door for something like that. I've been under the impression that they would hold Clock Tower until Halloween. But if Limited Run is planning on shipping in October,
it'll be at least then, if not before.
Yeah, I think it'd be way before it. So maybe they are readying some sort of shadow drop or it's out now sort of thing. Yeah. It's out soon,
All right, let's hit some questions. AJ says, if you wake up and you can't sleep. Do you reach for the Switch? If you do, what do you play to get back to sleep?
So if I wake up and I can't sleep, I reach for something, but it ain't the Switch. I'll just leave it at that. You guys didn't hear the groan and the scoff that my wife just made.
It's not a electronic device.
It's not. Nope.
I try to. I'm usually very good at getting back to sleep. I usually am able to not get back to sleep because cat is eating face. But I will TikTok.
Yeah, that'll keep me up. Can't do that.
Yeah. Do you think G-Man wants to know, do you think the Paper Mario series is back? If so, could Super Paper Mario happen again? I assume he means like a remake of that.
Is it bad? Like my rebuttal to that is like, did it go away?
No, I think maybe he means like good Paper Mario games. Is it like back, like, you know?
Not until they make a new one that really gets
Yeah.
people going. I can't say we can. I don't think, because this card that they're playing, this card has been here for a decade. At any point they could have done this. I was asking for this on Wii U. The first time I saw Color Splash, I was like, oh my God, please remake Thousand Year Door. I think that was Nintendo Shack. Like that episode, I was like, this is what they should do. They should remake Thousand Year Door instead. Now that they've played this card, now they have to make a new one. Like they've got to make a new Paper Mario that hits with people. And I don't think we can say it's back until they do that. Until they can pull that off, I don't know. I think it's.
There was. No, go ahead.
I think we'll get another one. I mean, they're definitely going to make more Paper Mario games for sure.
There was a I'm trying to find it, but a couple years ago, Reddit on the Nintendo subreddit held this like 2-year-long bracket to determine what is the best Nintendo game of all time. And I think I talked about this relatively recently.
I've seen it.
And
I've definitely seen
there were, tens of thousands of votes over the course of, this. And the top two ended up being Breath of the Wild and The Thousand Year Door.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what like really opened my eyes to like, wow, people really love this game that it, would come in second out of all the games out there, better than Mario 64, better than Mario Galaxy, better than, Ocarina of Time. Yeah. It's
the writing. And I also think it's the time, like in the GameCube was all about like getting edgy and kind of being, I don't want to say mature, but like kind of, it was Nintendo dipping into that water because like that's where the industry was at the time. That's where gaming was, right? That's when we got all of those like smart ass mascots and pushback, and it was just an edgy time. And like, I know it sounds dumb today if you play it, but like Thousand Year Door was kind of that. Like it was like it was kind of that for Nintendo, like as much as Nintendo could be. I think that's a big reason why I think it resonated with people. And I mean, again, that's nothing to say bad about the game. The mechanics are great, the visuals are great, but I think the seminal part is the writing. The writing is what attached to people.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, he also asked, G-Man, there was a second part to this. Happy anniversary to Mario versus Donkey Kong. I guess was this week was the anniversary of that
20th.
series.
20th anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, for the OG.
He wants to know if you have any favorite moments in that game. I have not played it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't think I can call like one specific level or anything, but just playing it, like the cutscenes. The cutscenes in that game are hilarious. Definitely get it. Play it on Switch. I loved it.
Here's a good question from Gags. He wants to know, the next Mario RPG, would you prefer a new Mario and Luigi title or a new Paper Mario title?
Paper Mario every day, all the time. Like
Didn't they kill off the studio that makes Mario and Luigi, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know.
Wasn't that Alpha Dream?
But if they did, I would applaud that move because I've never liked the Mario and Luigi series.
Yeah, Alpha Dream made it. They killed them off.
I've tried, and for whatever reason, I've never liked them. Tried them on 3DS. I've just, whatever the Mario and Luigi games, like I'm just not that into them.
Dude, I talked to Luigi in the Rogueport Square, and he was telling me all about how he is saving. He got a letter from Princess Eclair in the Waffle Kingdom, and how he has to go rescue her, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's getting scammed. Like, I think there's I think there's somebody tricking him.
Have you played Mario and Luigi games?
No.
No. Paper Luigi. See, Josh knows what's up.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think G-Man asked that last week.
Yeah. I think Paper Luigi be a really fun spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been down for a Paper Peach. I would have liked that better than Showtime, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they can make this into a whole series.
Don't think it's lost on me and that I'll forget. I definitely won't forget all these people that are saying Hellblade is a bad game, liked the Princess Peach Showtime game. They said that was a good one. And I'm not trying to throw stones, Nintendo faithful. Just play them both, and then you come back to me and defend that stance.
I will throw stones.
Because we will fight.
I will throw the stones.
But yeah, a couple of those people that are like, this is a bad game. When Princess Peach came out, they were like, you know, it's good. It's not great, but it's okay. And I'm like, okay.
One button. You move and there's one button. I'm
just saying it's not lost to me. I was thinking that this week when I'm hearing people talk about how bad Hellblade is. And in my head, I'm like, y'all like Princess Peach, you fucks. Yeah.
Moving on. Cheesy says, if you could be a Nintendo character made out of paper, what character would you be? I want to be a Splatoon Octoling made out of paper.
Paper Splatoon?
Yeah.
Okay. That one's interesting because like you get like the ink, you get the paper wet.
Yeah.
It's like there's something there. I don't know, probably Paper Yoshi. I mean, I'm just a sucker for Yoshi. Like whenever we do anything Yoshi, I'm typically Yoshi. That's my cart main. It's, you know, so probably Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be cute. You know?
Yeah.
It fits. What game franchises would you not want to have the paper treatment? Like you don't want paper Metroid, right?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't work. What about Paper Pikmin?
No, I don't think it does anything for that franchise. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, what should be an RPG.
Yeah.
And Metroid should not be a turn-based RPG. Pikmin should not be a turn-based RPG.
Paper Chibi Robo?
I mean, maybe. Is that one's not an RPG? Like, I don't know. Maybe. I haven't played Chibi Robo, so, like, I can't really
I'm trying to think of, like, if you're spinning off things, if you're trying to give something new life, like, what would you paper? Because I would definitely play paper. Like, if there was a Paper Yoshi game, day one.
Yeah.
100% I'm there. Paper Luigi, I'm there. You know, Paper Zelda, I'd be there. Paper Pokemon, I'd be there.
Yeah, like, what franchises do we think could translate to RPGs?
I would not want Paper Fire Emblem. Don't do that, Furukawa. No.
Ooh, Paper Earthbound.
Paper Earthbound is good. Oh, look at Hyrule Nate. Look at the chat. Paper Boy.
Oh. I know they're never making another Earthbound game, but if they did. Huh? Oh, you got it.
I got the controllers.
Nice.
I completely forgot about that last weekend.
It showed up at your door.
All day playing, and I bought the expansion pack. Just because I was like, well, I got the controllers. I might as well try it.
I got Ocarina of Time booted up in my original.
Very nice.
I showed my mom today. She was over my house, and I'm like, "You want to see like my new TV in action?" And she's like,
"My new TV."
Yeah. And she's like, "I don't get it." And she's here in chat, and she's watching, and she's like, "I don't get it." I'm like, "Doesn't it look great?" She's like, "No."
It's old. It looks big. It looks heavy. It looks old.
Donnie, my childhood save file is named Pikachu.
Wow, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I named my first save file was named me, named Donnie.
Yeah, well, I have them, and like one of them was my dad. I think Link was my dad. Like, so save file 1 says Link, save file 2 says 2, and then save file 3 says Pikachu.
Paper Tetris, Paper Animal Crossing.
Now, are we making those RPGs, or like are we just making them look just like paper?
Just
Because
paper
like paper
style.
Tetris, I
Yeah,
could see it looking like
they don't
paper.
have to be an RPG, I guess. But I
Okay,
still don't want Paper Metroid or
same.
Paper Pikmin. Paper Kong? I don't want that either.
Yeah.
I don't want Paper Star Fox.
Paper Punch Out.
Wow. Yeah, I don't want that. But there's a part of me that thinks like you hit somebody and
they
their head
crumble
just
up.
folds
And they
over.
tear. Yeah.
Like it's just I'm like, wait a minute, there might be something to this. Hang on a second.
Knockout, and he just like crumbles up into a little
Yeah.
ball.
Paper Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, stop.
I mean, with nuts and bolts, you're not that far away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have like a paper? Okay, listen, I'm pitching Paper Ice Climber, and it is not the same type of gameplay as the original.
Paper
It's
Icarus.
Nana and Popo, or whatever their names are. They go on an adventure, and they're made of paper in like a snowy world.
You can get behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have like one of those like indie narrative adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
You
And you can
platform and
swap
stuff,
between the
and
two of
and it
them.
folds, and like a tearaway.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm down. That's a good answer.
Thank you.
Very good.
Brendan says, with my Split Pat Pro breaking, rip, it said that the current Joy-Con rails are not going to work with the Switch 2.
That's correct.
I'm going to keep my OG and current OLED Switch. Do I just use my fixture S2, or should I pick myself new Joy-Cons? Don't buy new Joy-Cons.
The fixture is like the claw attachment that attaches your Switch to like a Pro controller. So you can like hold a Pro controller and have the Switch screen on top. You need Joy-Cons, Brendan.
Well, yeah, but don't get like a something that you get like a knockoff. Don't get the $70 regular.
Get the Nixies. Get the ones that I have.
Yeah.
Get the Nixies. NYXI. Get the Nixie Pros. They've got GameCube. I'm not telling you I like the GameCube style, but they've got the non-drift sticks, right? The hollow effect sticks. I love them. They're great. They're $60. But I mean, I think they're worth it. Other than that, like, yeah, pick up another pair. The Split Pad Pros and stuff, you can get pretty cheap these days. And those Split Pad Pro compacts, if you haven't had the compacts are the best. And I think you can pick those up secondhand for like $20 right now. So if you just want to get by until the Switch 2 comes out, I would tell you to get those. Get the Split Pad Pro compacts. They're great.
Get something cheap just to hold you off.
Yeah.
And finally, Kyle the Pug, do we think Delvin would enjoy the 1,000-Year Door like everyone else? Or is he still too busy to like Detective Pikachu or playing Detective Pikachu to even care? What a burn.
I think Delvin would like 1,000-Year Door for sure.
Do we know if he picked it up?
I don't know. I don't think he's doing it. I mean, shout out to Delvin and send him, just think, good vibes, good energy, positive stuff for Delvin right now. He'll be back soon. And he's doing a great job. He's doing an excellent job, but he's just going through it right now. So keep him up there. I think he would like 1,000-Year Door. He likes
I hope he's getting it. He
likes funny writing. He likes good visuals. I don't think he has a problem with turn-based stuff. I think the reading might be, there is that part. You have to get him through the intro. Like get through the intro, Delvin. Stick with it. But I think he'd like it. Sure.
There's a lot of reading in Detective Pikachu, isn't there?
True. He likes most things. That's the thing. That's the joke we make. The eternal joke is on PSVG. He has a game and he's like, I like it. Like that's his review on almost everything. Is I like it.
My mom loves Delvin. She's in chat saying, "Miss you, Delvin."
He's great.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. The best
I'm
of us, for
excited
sure.
for him to return. We got to hear what he's. Soon. Yeah, we got to hear what he's been playing lately.
Not much, I doubt.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, in any case, I'm going to be enjoying my extra day off this week.
Yeah.
Only 14 more school days, Donnie, and then it's my summer break.
My kids are out. Been out.
Yeah.
They were out Wednesday.
Them. But they start earlier.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't start till the end of August.
Victoria, every one of her friends, she's been to like 8 graduation parties this week. Everybody's graduating. Every day she's got a party to go to.
I remember that.
Her life is exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So many appearances. But she's going directly from school to driving school.
Oh, exciting year.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Enjoy any Memorial Day festivities if you do any.
Yeah.
And play lots of Thousand Year Door. Go get the Switch from Melissa.
She's still playing. She hasn't moved.
You need a second Switch.
I have my No More Heroes Switch. I want to play the OLED.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
can move her Animal Crossing to it.
You should do that.
Yeah, but then she's gonna be playing my No More Heroes Switch. Right? If something happens to it, I'll never forgive her. Those are irreconcilable differences, Rebecca.
All right, Koopalings. Do we have anything? What's the next exciting Nintendo thing? Next week is going to be June. Yeah, next week's going to be June.
We're like 2 weeks out from Summer Games Fest and a bunch of games being announced.
Yeah.
And then I don't know when the direct will be, but I assume it won't be that week. But the plan is whenever the direct is announced, we will record a podcast that evening. And then I am trying to record an Xbox show the day that Xbox has their showcase. And then outside of that, regular schedule. So like on PSVG Wednesday, we'll do the Ubisoft and whatever else, the Devolver stuff, right? Like we're not gonna have as many live streams and stuff this year. I just don't. Nobody's really asked me for them. I don't particularly want to do them, but also like nobody on the team seems to be all that interested in doing them.
Listen, I said if they happen to do it on a day that I am not working, I will. Or if I'm not, if it's in the evening or whatever. If I am not at work, I will live stream.
Here's my and I'm happy. Like, yeah, we'll definitely tweet you and let you do that. Because there's a part of me that wants to watch the show without being like live reacting to it and not like record one of the things I don't particularly like about like this type of year or this time of year that we've done every year is that we go from the show directly into like the podcast. And you've seen me, I'm trying to get notes and prepare and get all the details and it's coming out. What I want to do is I want to watch the show like as a spectator, like maybe eat something and then have a couple hours to really
digest it,
do my notes the way I want to do them.
Yeah.
And then do the podcast. So that's the plan. We're going to do that this year.
Okay.
And so once Summer Games Fest gets started, we're going to have an Xbox podcast. We're going to have PSVG. If there is no direct, Shaq will be regularly scheduled. If there is a direct, we'll do it that evening. And then that'll be it. So don't be expecting anything else other than that.
They're going to screw with you and do them on the same day.
That'd be great, actually. That'd be super fun. It'd be like old times. It'd be like old times again. I wish Nintendo would just come out and be like, we're doing it Tuesday. Like we're supposed to. Like we've done for a decade. Like,
I know.
Like Xbox is Sunday, Ubisoft, PlayStation's Monday, and you're Tuesday, damn it. Tuesday at 12.
Times will never get back.
I don't think I'll ever not feel that way. Like for whatever reasons, like this is when you're supposed to have your damn show. Mm-hmm. And you and I both know it's going to be like June 24th at it's going to be weeks.
I hope it's later. Like, I really want to not be working when they do it because it sucks when I can't watch it live with everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be later. I don't think they're like, at least, I don't know. But if it was going to be that week, I think Jeff would have already said so. Right. I think he would have wanted to make that like a deal, like a thing. And there's been nothing said at all. So I think Nintendo will probably be after all of that week and all that stuff's gone. But yeah, after that, it's just, we don't have a whole lot. We don't have there's no games announced for first party until Luigi's Mansion. So they've got some stuff to announce.
I'm looking forward to seeing it all.
Hopefully it's some Zelda stuff.
I'm going to log off and go play Paper Mario.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Enjoy your evening. We will see you next week, Koopalings.
Peace. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?